Welcome back to the return of the Obra Dinn. I messed around a little bit in the game between sessions, but I did it in my old save, so that I wouldn't mess anything up in the save that you've been watching. And the first thing I realized was I missed an opportunity to name one of the people involved in the story. Let's have a look at this again. So this is part 6, the first part you discover in the escape story.
Oh no, you're cut.
Scottish guy.
Leave me.
Bear up, son. I'll stay with you.
Tell Pete's mother I tried my best
Aye,
to pull him back, to save him.
you tell her yourself. Brennan, bring the surgeon's kit.
Okay, so this guy tried to help somebody named Pete, and that's something I haven't fully solved yet. But he just shouted, Brennan. And I just realized, this is Brennan. This is the guy, this is one of the guys who got killed in the very first sequence I went through, and we know his name, and I had totally missed that before. So let's go back. Actually, the best way to do this is probably to zoom in on him. Wasn't there a way to like click on him and like say his name, or do I have to find him in the book? I guess I have to find him in the book. Let's get out of here. Let's look at, here's the book. This guy right here. We know who he is. His name is Brennan. He's all the way down the bottom. He's Henry Brennan. He's a seaman. He's from England. So we know who he is. That's the first thing that I realized after our last session. What else did I realize? Oh, right. Another thing that I figured out. This guy, he's dying in this segment. But it's interesting how the timelines work. They're based on when someone dies, but not when the cause of death is visited upon them. So this guy's dead, but you actually have to track it back to a different death. I think it's Escape 3. Like part 3 right here, when this guy up on the deck gets killed, that's actually when the guy downstairs gets stabbed. So let's have a look at that. Let's go up. Wait, can I go upstairs? I need to get out through the... Where's the magical portal? I need to get out of this scene. Because I need to go up these stairs, but I can't with this idiot in the way. Wait, is that it? Oh, that's it. I just walked right by it before. Okay, here we go. Okay, so, not this dead body. Let's go upstairs and look at this dead body. This is from part 3, I believe. Yes, part 3 of the escape. So while I was watching that guy getting killed, I stayed up here on the stern deck, but actually I can come down here and see it's this dude with the hat who stabs this guy. So he stabs him, he crawls away, and then in the very next part, this guy struggles with somebody else and gets his face shot off. And then I think Brennan comes down and clubs the guy who shot his face off. And the guy who shot his face off was actually this guy. So the way I've put it together now, and you might have seen me go through all of this in the previous episode, these two were in here watching a man die over in this direction. They start having a mutinous discussion. And this is where I got confused the first time, because I was listening to a mutiny being discussed, I assumed that the mutineers would be the first mate and Brennan, because that's who's committing a mutiny at the very end. And so I assumed it was them, but no, they actually come down to respond. They come down, like, when these mutineers are nearly caught, and they're murdering people to hide their crimes, it's Brennan and, what's his name, and the Scottish guy, who are stopping them, who are fighting them. So I got confused by that. So I don't quite know this guy's name yet. I think he and the guy behind him, who he gets in a fight with later on, these guys are both officers. So I believe that it won't take long to identify them. But anyway, yeah, so this is an interesting thing that I hadn't really realized, like, that they could have events in the same story going on in vastly different parts of the ship. And it might actually behoove me to walk around and see what other parts of the story are playing out invisibly in other parts of the ship while I'm trying to figure out something else. So that was interesting. Also, I'm trying to remember now the dialogue in part 1. So this guy, the bosun, he's the one who died at the very beginning in that chair. And it says, "Put me down, let go, easy, you're in a bad way. The squid, where is my Frenchman? The squid's gone, your mate was torn apart." And so I actually made an assumption here when I was reading this on my own. Because we figured out that this guy was the bosun. Though, actually, I mean, the reason okay, here's what I'll say. The reason I think he's the bosun is because the bosun's mate is French. And so they talked about, Charles Miner or whatever, is your mate. And so this guy must be the bosun. And there was also an assumption going around, I think partially from the chat last time, that I might know who the tattooed guy is, because the tattooed guy got torn apart by the squid, and so he must therefore be the bosun's mate. So I made that assumption. I actually went and I found that guy. I forgot where he is. He would have been in not the escape story, but in the Doom story. Oh, I think that's before the escape. Where is Doom? Do I need to go and... Let's go to here. The Doom. In the Doom story, he gets ripped apart. This guy gets ripped apart by a terrible beast. So I assumed that he must be Charles Miner, the French guy. But when I selected this, so I did, let me show you. Okay, what I did was I selected him, right? And said that that's who that is. But when I figured out a few more things, other fates got confirmed, and this one wasn't confirmed. And so let's walk through that, because I know I figured out a couple more things. One thing I found out was that, so I only got through part of the Doom story. You notice I got started with part 3. I need to fill in part 2, and they circled on the bow. I think what they're telling me is that this is... Oh, yeah, you can't... I'm not sure where my head belongs on this screen. But this circle, I think, means there is a body that I can find. So let's close the book. Let's go find a body on the bow. Let's get out of this little whatever memory. And then let's go to the bow. So the bow is on the front of a ship, but it's not just up here on the bow. I tried that first, didn't find a body. It's actually downstairs, what we're looking for. And it's kind of a funny one. So we come over here, and there's somebody's remains here at the bow. So let's look at them and see what happens. Prepare your ears. So, this guy came here to go to the bathroom. You see, there's a grated floor here. This is where people go to the bathroom. He was doing that, and then a squid crushed him to death and crushed the rest of the farts out of his body. I don't think I've ever seen something so disturbing in my life. But I love it. And one thing I noticed about this guy... So he doesn't appear in any of the pictures. He's just got a signature on the pictures. And so I think we can actually draw some conclusions about this. I think I need to wait for this bit to end. I'm curious what else. So these guys, so this is probably the first, everyone seems really calm. So I think this is probably the first appearance of the squid. The first thing the squid does is punish someone for pooping in its ocean. So I assume that's the motivation of the squid, that it doesn't want people to poop in its ocean. So yeah, so this guy, he signs ES to something. So let's look at this. So what I'm looking for is an artist named ES. So here we are. Edward Spratt, artist, England. That seems legit, right? And he was crushed by a terrible beast. So I love that. His face doesn't appear in any of the art because he drew all of the pictures. Like, it's such a clever idea because, you know, you've got all these pictures. I'm glad that they thought through, wait, who drew these pictures? Their face won't be in them. And, you know, and found a way to integrate that. So, yeah, that's great. So we've got that figured out. And we're all vibrating now. So who is the first person to die in the Doom story? It's somebody up here. How do I get upstairs? Oh, wait, real quick. There's something here that we need to know. Remind me to come back to that pair, because there's also something I figured out over there. So we're going to come up here, and there's a body over here that seems to have nothing to do with the rest of this story. So we'll follow our little cloud friend. Over here to produce the body.
Let me on. Over my dead body, you bloody Dane.
Dane.
How's that?
There's no cause for trouble, boys. Get in the boat.
Thought I'd forget. You killed my brother. What? That was an accident. The robes.
It wasn't his fault. I saw the whole thing.
Lies. I shouldn't have waited so long.
No, don't.
Okay, so as I interpret this, some guy whose brother was killed got real mad at a Dane and killed a Dane. These guys seem to be escaping. And this guy, I assume, also escapes. So I'm imagining that they're probably alive. But it turns out when you say that somebody is alive, you have to say where they went, and we don't know where they're headed. We'll have to figure that out later. But we at least know that that happened. And it looks like they've kind of cut us off from the rest of the ship, so this is an isolated thing. We're not going to learn anything else outside of this little story. So we just need to wait. Just gonna wait. All right, there we go. Okay, so this, I believe, is a Dane. Let's find a Dane. Dane. Lars Linde from Denmark. Nobody else from Denmark. So let's say this is Lars Linde. And he was clubbed, but we don't know who that was, who clubbed him. And he only appears in one memory, so we're not going to see him anywhere else. We just need to figure out who that attacker was from some other context. And I think right now that's all we can figure out. But I think it goes through a process of adding the rest of those guys in just a second. So let's go out the door. So yeah, it's going to open up the book and point out that, you know, we've accounted for a certain number of deaths. A fairly large number of deaths. And I think those slashes, those might be people who escaped, or they might be people who didn't have a specific fate decided for them by that story. But, like, okay, so this guy, he's not... This is the guy who attacked Linda. And I'm not sure... So his face is clear. Which makes me wonder if we can identify him. This is a deduction rating. A higher rating means it'll be more difficult to deduce this person's identity. Focus on the easily deduced identities first and leave the more difficult ones for later. Okay, so the only thing I was going to check was, are there two people with the same last name? Because if there are, that might represent a couple of brothers. Now, I don't see anyone next to each other, so it might take some effort for me to identify the names of people that go together. But that's something that I should be on the lookout for, recognizing that two people have the same last name, because that would probably mean, oh, this guy and his brother are both on the ship. The brother gets killed in an accident witnessed by Linde, and or something like that. So I'm keeping that in mind. Maybe it's possible to deduce him now, but it seems like they don't have a high estimation of my chances. And then there's a bunch of other people who appeared in the story who it's just not sure who they are or where they went. Some of these guys, I think, are the ones that were escaping. And so at some point, I'm going to need to say, that this person is alive, but then I have to say where they are. And I don't know. I don't have that information about anybody yet. So anyway, let's get out of here. And then let's go back down. Let's go look at the guy who got the crap squeezed out of him over here, because there was one more thing I wanted to pick up about that memory. Okay, we'll just listen to him poop again for fun. Yes! So, here's the thing I figured out. This guy, we know who he is. I'm pretty sure. He is Martin Parrott. Yes, I've already named him. Well, Martin Parrott has got a steward. And I think that this guy right here... Okay, I need to figure out... I just cannot keep track of how the controls work in this game. Okay, so... Okay, it looks like there are definitely more people that I could find. But we'll worry about that in a second. What I want to do is find his steward. So, his steward... Actually, I think the better way to do this is to zero in on his face. And then open it. It'll open up to him. So this guy, he was crushed by a cannon. And now we know who he is because... Where does it say steward? So we got Parrott, third mate. The third mate has got a steward. Right here. Roderick Anderson. So that's Roderick Anderson. And now that's my third correct fate. And so this is how I figured out the thing about Charles. So we know Roderick, we know Brennan, and we knew another person. But you know who didn't get marked off? Charles. The guy, the person I identified as Charles. The guy who, got ripped apart by the squid. So I think I was wrong about who that was. So let's go back to the Doom. Why am I paging through it one step at a time? Right here, this guy? I would have gotten credit if this was right. So I know this guy was torn apart by a terrible beast. But he is not Charles Minaire, which means that whatever I was deducing... So that actually makes me doubt the bosun. The guy that I identified as the bosun. I mean, he's got a fancy hat on. That sounds like the kind of hat that a person called bosun would wear. But I can't be sure. So there he is, this guy. So, and I also don't know how he was killed. He is the first person to die in this part of the story. And so I didn't see, his arm was ripped off. And so it seems like there might have been another encounter with the creature or some other circumstance under which, this person might have been ripped apart. Yeah, so memories where this person appears can be navigated from here. So, the first memory of him is when... Wait, oh, what? Bookmark all the memories for quicker navigation. Okay, great. Thank you for the instructions. No, but that's not what I wanted to do. All right, use the buttons at the top of the page to edit bookmarks and navigate between them. Okay, but I don't want to do that. Move bookmarks. Okay, so this guy appears in 3 memories, but I've only found 2 of them. The first memory in which he appears right now is in 86, which is here. Okay, yeah, so he was present in this scene when this guy died. He was having a gun tossed to him on the deck. But, and so, which is another reason why I thought, oh yeah, he was present, he tried to help, and failed. But when he died, and again, I don't know how he died, but when he died, yeah, he said, "The squid, where's my Frenchman? The squid's gone, your mate was torn apart." Like, so it feels like there is a French, like, I'm wondering, are there other Frenchmen? Like, is it possible that I have missed another Frenchman who could have been called my Frenchman by somebody else? Like, okay, so France, so Charles Minaire is from France. And, yeah, I don't see any other French people. So this confuses me, right? This is the only French person. And so, yeah, so I guess what this must mean is Charles Minaire is a real person. He's the bosun's mate. And actually, honestly, he's probably not the shirtless guy running around with tattoos. Because bosun's mate, that feels like almost like a stewardy sort of job. Like, that, he probably isn't that guy. So there's probably a different Charles Minaire who got ripped apart by the squid. And the tattooed guy also got ripped apart by the squid. But he's not Charles Minaire. And so there's going to be a memory somewhere in between. And that's the thing that's interesting here. So yeah, so somewhere in between, let me go to the Doom again. So I've got the Doom and the yes, okay, so this guy, he's introduced in the Doom. He dies in the Escape. So it feels like actually the Bargain, this sequence, which is going to remain unknown to me until I leave the ship. This must be where his middle memory appears. Where you know, he actually gets his arm ripped off. And maybe that's the scene where he sees Charles Minaire die. But I still need to figure out separately who this guy is, who also got ripped apart by the squid. So it's just, my brain is being pulled in a bunch of different directions, but it's fine. So that's the stuff that I figured out on my own in between sessions. So now I've got about half an hour before the next thing I need to do. So let's figure out what the next thing is that I can investigate. So let's open up the book again. Page a little earlier. Okay, so Soldiers of the Sea. There's a dead body on a cargo deck somewhere. There's also a dead body in the port walk. So maybe that's where we need to go. So I don't know which deck is the cargo deck, and I don't know which deck is the port walk. The front of the ship is this way, which means port is that way. So there's something along the side of the ship over here. But I think this feels like this is like there is cargo here, but this feels like it's like the cannon deck or something like that, the gun deck. And it's got the officer's mess over here. So I think this is not the cargo deck. Let's go down. Oh, what? Whoa. So there's a lot of liquid here. Interesting. This looks like a bunch of cargo. Seems to indicate this might be a cargo deck. And then this must be the port walk. And look at this. We've got a thingy. Let's have a look at our thingy. Panting. They make... Ooh, what is the lazarette? Secure the hold.
Someone shoot the damn thing!
Okay. So this guy is... Who is this, first of all? Some dude, okay. It looks like he's being shot from behind? So does that mean that there's something going on in the other room and he's just a random... I can't get out of here. I'll have to peek in through these windows. Yeah, it looks like he's being shot. What it... No, is he being shot or is he There's some kind of spider thing in there. And so did somebody shoot him through the wall? Or is he being stabbed through the wall by the spider? I'm genuinely not sure. I can't quite tell what's going on. I'll have to think about this a little bit more. So it says someone shoot the damned thing. So I'm trying to remember, was there a gunshot at the very moment that the scene ended? Because if there was... Oh, hey, there's Hat Guy. Oh, multiple Hat Guys. All right. And can I see whether somebody is pointing a gun in this direction? That's the thing. I'm like, I can see people pointing guns at the spider. I don't see a spider leg coming in through this direction. Oh yeah, there's that guy. He's shooting in this direction. Okay. Let's say this guy was shot with a gun by, can I say accident? No. But we know it's the guy who's over there. So if we can get in here, and like it's not letting me zoom in on him, but if we can get in there and figure out who looks that way and is on that side, we could say that he did it. Though I don't know if that would be considered fair to say he did it, because it was clearly an accident. Okay. So at least we're gonna get into this room now, right? Right? Okay, what's your deal? Oh, he's got... What? He's being pinned to the wall by a spider thing?
Oh, I've got you. Don't move. I'll get you down.
Okay, so he's been spiked by something. They're trying to get him down, but he's dead. So La Coalition points out that apparently the dead body that was on the other side on the port walk was still there. Like, it actually had legit remains behind. Because sometimes what you're seeing is phantoms of bodies that aren't really on the ship. But that guy, he had remains on the ship. And so Coalition was like, he got killed and literally no one went on the port walk and noticed that entire time. The most ignominious death on the ship. Wait, so is this earlier or later? I mean, this thing looks dead, right? Why are we pouring water on it? So we got a bunch of very tired people. See, it looks like he was spiked. Is spiked an option? Spiked? Spiked! He was spiked by a terrible beast. Alright, we know that much. Let's find another body. And it does look like, yes, that was earlier than the previous. Oh, this isn't just a monster. This is a dead person cuddling a monster. So Coalition is suggesting maybe it's not water they're pouring on the monster. Maybe it's something else, something to kill the monster. Or to burn the monster. Oh, what the? Why is it everywhere? Oh, because the creature's everywhere. Okay. I always forget I have to hold the button down. Oh! It was on fire. He and the beast were on fire together. That's why they're pouring water on it. This guy's got some crazy blunderbuss looking thing. So yeah, it does look like he was burned to death. This guy is like stabbing the spider creature. Does the spider creature have like a... Is it like a spider centaur? Or something? It's got like a... It's shaped differently than I would think. This guy was definitely burned to death. One thing I'd love to do is figure out who it was that was aiming the gun in that first scene. Maybe that's something I'll be able to tell, because I skipped the eighth part, which it said in the lazarette. I don't know what a lazarette is. Ooh, does anyone out there know what a lazarette is? La Coalición has identified the creature. He says the creature is, of course, a mermaid, and I agree. So this guy was burned. Burned to death. That's all we need to know. And this is going to lead us to another body. Over here? Oh, there's like 2 people dead here. Did they die at once? Or are we going to get them in sequence? By the way, it's interesting to note how I can't move my feet. Like when it's waiting for me to spawn the cloud, I can't move my feet. And at first I was surprised by that, but I think it's intentional. Basically, they had a few options for like following the cloud. They could just launch the cloud immediately, but if they do that, the cloud could get out of my vision and I might not know where it's headed and I might lose the cloud. They could also let me walk around all day, but if they do that, then I could walk to the other end of the ship, trigger the cloud, and then I don't see the cloud. And they could try to start the cloud where I am, but then they'd have to have a procedurally traveling cloud, like a procedural path for the cloud from wherever I am to wherever it's headed. And that also would just be, I mean, it's possible, but it's also a lot of work for a game that doesn't need it. And so basically, I think that the reason why your feet are frozen when you have to click the button, when you get the vibrating, compass, and it's time to trigger the follow cloud. I think basically it's so that you are definitely there and you know what moment the cloud appears and you're paying attention. So that makes sense. So it looks like we do have 2 dead bodies here at once. Okay, so these people were being... Yes, they were being... Oh, look at this. This does look like it's got some kind of person on it. Hard to tell what it is, but yeah. It is, you're right, Coalición, it is clearly a mermaid. So these 2 are being killed simultaneously with the pincers of the spider beast. Oh, and this guy is hurling the lantern. Who are you? I don't know. It looks like this might be our next dead body over here. Oh, wait. Oh, there's another one up there. Oh, wow. Okay, so how did this one? How did they deal with that one? Because they burned the one that's downstairs, but there's one upstairs, too. Oh, of course, the one in the first scene, that wasn't the burned one, that was the second one. And so probably the scene I skipped, the one in the lazarette, that's the one that probably kills the second beast. But this does give me an idea. So Ranethcord says that the lazarette is a small compartment below the deck in the aft end of a vessel used for stores. So I think the fact that now we can see what direction the spider creatures are moving, we know where to look for the lazarette. So this guy was clawed. I would say he was clawed by a terrible beast. And similarly, this guy, clawed by a terrible beast. that's not who I expected we were going to be. Okay, looks like he's been spiked. So La Coalition says, so in all the scenes you can search for the next one? It seems like not all of them. They basically have the ability for one scene to unlock another scene. Where is this taking me? But they use it, basically, I think they do want you to sort of see an entire story, usually back to front. We saw the first one front to back, but then later ones we've seen back to front. They want us to see the scenes in a certain order, so they do have the scenes sort of chain into each other and unlock each other. But that's not all the case. Like, in this particular story, scenes 7 and 8 were both available, and I could have done them, allegedly I could have done them in any order. I just chose 7 and skipped 8. A demon! Out of the way! Oh no!
What's going on?
Stay back. It's already going for Nick.
Killed Nick.
Come on, boss. No, get there. Hey, cat!
Okay. So yeah, this thing is spiking that guy. So we know he's getting spiked. This guy's throwing something at it, trying to throw an axe at it, but it's deflecting it. Everybody else is sort of cowering a little bit. So this one's headed downstairs. So that's the front one that gets burned, that's headed downstairs. Oh, there is so much. There's so much going on up here. So many dead people. So yeah, we're going to say spiked about the current dead body. But it looks like we've got a whole chain of these guys to deal with later. But it said it's already done for Nick. So is this Nick? Maybe he might be the only actual dead body up here. The rest of them might just be hiding or knocked out. I'm not sure. Anyway, the guy we're investigating right now was spiked. It's interesting that the method of death is usually the first one that I have a chance to do. Like, I usually don't know who the person is, and I usually don't know who did it to them. All I know is how they died. It's like this guy. Impaled? Is that an option? So that guy got spiked over there. So again, yes, we're just backtracking up the stairs. And the lost smoke monster is going to give me a body here. Oh, okay, so sorry, Coalition, I misunderstood what you were saying, but yeah. Okay, yeah, so this guy... Oh! He was attacked as they climbed up out of the ocean. So yeah, so this must be Nick. Because he's the only one who was killed, I think, before the last guy. Oh, they're protecting the goat. You gotta protect the goat. I really want to know what happens to the goat. Oh, wait, but who's this guy? Did he just fall from the rigging or what? Are we gonna get an explanation of this guy? I really love this monster concept, by the way. These, like, spider things crawling up from the depths. Okay, yeah, so Lacolison was actually, when he said, I misread, I thought that he was, when he said the second one, I thought he meant the next scene. But what he was saying was, you can look for the second spider in all of these scenes. So yeah, I think that's like a lot of what the challenge of this game is. You'll have a memory presented to you that's telling you one specific thing, but actually there's a bunch of other hidden information in the scene. And if you go hunting for the other elements, you can find out a lot more. Just like when I found the mate steward, for instance. Like, that had nothing to do with what was going on, but it was a hint. Okay, so this, I'm betting this is Nick. Nicholas Botterill, maybe? Is he he's a topman? Let's go with Nicholas Botterill. And he was... Is there an impaled? Speared by a foreign enemy? Is that what we want to say? Because I think he was speared by the rider of the spider. Not the spider itself, but the rider of the spider. Spider rider. Let's say that tentatively. Yeah, because it is the rider holding that thing. Yeah, so this guy. How in the world did this happen to you? Are we gonna have to get up in the rigging? Can I get up in the rigging? Okay, no. Okay, so we are gonna look at his dead body this way. But are we gonna see how he fell? Oh, what? He was hit by lightning? This guy was struck by lightning, and then we can already see the spider down there starting to come up, but this guy was struck by lightning first. And this guy's like, what? All these guys are like, what is going on? Oh, hey, it's this guy. It's Tattoo Dude. He's up here. Works in the rigging. Okay, yes, I don't know who this is, but I know how he died, like always. I assume there's probably going to be some talkier bits later on that are just mostly about finding out who people are. Like, maybe most of the disasters happen in the late story, but as I backtrack into the early story, maybe there'll be some more drama that reveals people's identities. Okay, so I don't know who this is, but... Struck? Nope. Electrocuted. There we go. And they've opened the door. But there is one more element of this story that I've missed, and it is the body in the lazarette, right? So we got part 1 in the rigging, lightning strike. Part 2, speared by the foreign enemy. Part 3, spiked. Part 4, 2 guys clawed. Part 5, guy burns from the lantern on the enemy. Part 6, another spike. Part 7, shot through the wall during the fight. But then part 8, on the cargo deck. Oh, this is not the one that said lazarette. Okay. I think there's a different story that starts in the lazarette. Or maybe I swear I've seen the word lazarette before. Maybe I'm nuts. Or maybe one of these says lazarette and I just missed it. I don't know. Anyway, so on the cargo deck, there's another body somewhere on the cargo deck that's going to help me with this. So the spiders came all the way down both stairs. They were headed this way. There is another body here somewhere. Could there be one here? I guess it would say the starboard walk, right? Because the other one said the port walk. Huh, there's a little workshop back here. That's neat. Now, what deck is this? This could be the lazarette. Oh, this feels like the cargo deck. This is locked. Oh, what's this? Is this going to be the missing thing?
Keep pressure here.
Hold him down.
What madness
is this? 20 years my steward had never a doubt on your sanity. Explain yourself.
Those ungodly beasts carry a curse! Throw them back or doom us all!
Tie him up and put him in the lazarette with those things. He may yet find his senses.
Come on.
All's fine, John. Been in worse spots, I think.
Iradorar. What
Where's the rest of his leg?
language is that? Okay, so somebody's steward was crazy and lost his mind. I think it might have been this guy. Might have been the Scottish guy talking about his steward having lost his mind. So I'm thinking maybe he attacked the other guy? Sword, missing leg. So let's say that this guy wait a minute. Who are the... Okay, so these guys are crossed off. Wait, where's the captain and stuff on the list? Hold on, I need to look at the full list. I'm not sure why that list is truncated, because the full list I think includes the captain at the top, right? Yeah. I guess if I've just completely assigned... Okay, so Hosket, that's the first mate. He's going to have a steward. Paul Moss from Wales, who was apparently killed with a sword. That's Paul Moss. Or at least I was saying that's Paul Moss. Why did I say that was Paul Moss? Actually, this is written... I can't click this. Why can't I click this? And who is this guy? Oh, it's that guy. It's the guy who later died with his missing arm. So this guy definitely got his leg chopped. I'm confused about what happened here. And I also don't know why Paul Moss... I don't remember filling in Paul Moss. Oh, wait. No. Somebody shouted the name Paul in the escape. That's right. Oh, wait. This is Unholy Captives? This wasn't the one I was looking for? This is different? Okay, so this guy was killed with a sword. Right? There's no separate thing for having your leg cut off. So yeah, I think I've got to... Oh, we're going to start chaining this together. I don't have time for that. I have to go. I've got an appointment. So yeah, I think... Let's follow this to find the new body. Oh, it's upstairs. But I think I have to be done after this. Oh, there's just a bunch of injuries. So it's entirely possible that I misidentified who Paul was in the escape. And if I misidentified who Paul was, then maybe I put that name in there, but why was it not letting me change it? Is it confirming that I was right? I'm going to need to explore this UX a little bit more and try to figure out what that was saying to me. Holy crap. All right, we got a dead body. So this guy was, what? Crushed by something coming down the stairs. I can't even tell what this is. Weird. Yeah, it's going to take some effort for me to piece this together and figure out what it means. So yeah, sorry to end this on a slightly cliffhangery note here, because we're not coming to any satisfying conclusions. I had intended to find the other body in the cargo hold that would round out the spider story. I wasn't trying to embark on an entirely new story. So, this is the kind of thing that's great. Like, if you're just sort of killing time with this game on your own, noodling through it, this is fine for you to just be chasing a million things. But I'm trying to make a video here. So, anyway, this guy was crushed by stuff. He was crushed by cargo? Let's say cargo. But yeah, we can't chase this next one, so we're going to have to quit. But this game is interesting, right? Like, the first time I played it, like that very early time, years ago, I got a short ways into it, and I don't think I fully understood what it was doing. You know, I got a kind of a glimpse into it, but I feel like we're getting a much better idea now of, like, sort of how this story fits together. So I'm going to debate a little bit about whether I want to just keep playing this on my own, or if I want to drag you all into it again. Maybe I'll keep playing it on my own, and then if I find some interesting stuff, I'll come back and show it to you, or something like that. We'll just have to see. In the meantime, though, I do have to get out of here. I got another appointment. So there's my subscribe button, and here is links to other videos that might or might not include more Obra Dinn.